a lot of these, you know, Nazis like Kyle Rittenhouse or Sneako or what have you were probably just predisposed.
Are either of those? I don't think that people are like beyond reach, and that some people are just destined to become far-right actors.
Bro, if it's your nature, Kyle Rittenhouse was a kid who was already like kind of right-wing and was super duper pro-police, Blue Lives Matters.
Okay, none of the things you've said so far. Like Sneako, like I can see the forces that are pushing him as far right as he's going. It's like pretty obvious. He's getting banned from every platform, and he's getting a ton of hate from people on the left. He's getting a ton of love from people on the right. Like that type of environment is going to move almost anybody in that direction. They don't have to be predisposed towards it. That's just a superhuman thing.
His nature, bro, you can't be like humanizing or like sanitizing such insane
but they're humans. I don't sanitize them. I call them out for what they are, but I mean, they're humans, they're people. Like, yeah, you got to meet them where they are. What, like, it's important.
You can't ask people to respond differently to an insane evil.
He's not evil. Who are you?
So I wanted to ask, it's a huge talking point of yours to harp on how
Huge, yeah.
Okay, you don't even know what I'm going to say. Lefties banning conservatives is a huge thing that you harp on.
Mm-hmm.
That is like, and that you say that that's like a huge part of why conservatives are becoming more extreme when you sympathize with conservatives getting banned or whatever. My question is, how do you know that banning people online is such a huge contributor to them becoming more right-wing? Like, this is something you harp on a lot, so I feel like you should have like some pretty something concrete that lets you know that like this is actually true.
I mean, one of the biggest narratives that conservatives have, they've had people in front of Congress talking about this, is the censorship of conservatives online. It seems to play into a big part of their culture wars talking point.
Yeah, but like, how do you know that us banning them is what's causing them to become like more extreme to such a degree? Like,
I don't know. How the fuck am I supposed to measure that? How the fuck do you know if Jim Crow like keeps black people in poverty today? Like,
well, if you don't know for sure, then like, why do you harp on it as such a huge talking point of yours whenever you shit on lefties constantly?
Because I think it's a really big talking point. I think it's a really big driving force of like conservative talking points and conservative like resentment towards like media and social media platforms and shit.
Well, I mean, I think that that's just conservatives trying to win sympathy points, and I think that like centrists like you constantly trying to like sympathize with them and buy into that narrative is just only helping them. Like, an alternative explanation like you could give for why people on the right, because like I will agree, like there are people on the right who are becoming more extreme, but like an alternative explanation is just that like the internet echo chambers are just on their own are enough to make them move farther and farther right over time. So like I don't really think it's good that you're constantly like sympathizing with these conservatives, constantly agreeing with them, because like you don't know that for sure.
I mean, when it comes to sociological issues, I don't know if I know anything for sure. I mean, I don't know how I'm supposed to respond to that. Do you think that hate speech online is like causing an increase in like actual hateful activity in the United States, like hate crimes and stuff?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, well, how the f can you prove that? Because that's a talking point that people on the left give all the f***ing time.
Okay, fine, I'll grant you that, but like, even if we grant that like it is amplifying it, how do you know to like the degree it is?
I don't know the degree. I can't point out the degree, but I know it's a big part of their rhetoric. It's a huge talking point for them, and it seems to be borne out by the moderation policies that a lot of these platforms choose.
I mean, it's not great that they're canceling, but even if I grant you that the left canceling right-wingers or centrists amplifies those echo chambers, which we don't know if that's true, you don't know how much worse that makes it. Like, for all we know, it could barely be making a negative difference at all.
Okay, that could be true of almost everything. Like, I don't know.
So, like, I don't know, you just, like, you keep antagonizing the left and shitting on them constantly, but then here I confront you about it, and you're like, oh, well, I mean, it's not, you know, I mean, I don't actually know for sure if it does or not. It's like, bro,
wait, hold on. What do you... My opposition to it, firstly, can be principled. I don't think it's positive at all for the discourse to be wholly banning certain points of view, right? I'm allowed to have that position. And then, secondly...
Like, why not, though?
Why? Because I feel like that there are important conversations that we should be able to have as part of being democratic citizens, and some of those might involve uncomfortable things like conspiracy theories or...
I don't think humans are able to have some of these conversations in like an internet age where echo chambers incentivize us to be in our own bubbles. Like, I don't think
That's
necessarily
fine that you think that, but as long as we have a democracy, as long as we live under a democracy, we're kind of entrusting that citizens are capable to navigate these platforms.
I mean, other countries have similar mild limitations on free speech already, like Canada or like a lot of countries in Europe even, with like mild hate speech laws limitations or whatever, and like they're just fine.
I mean, just
So,
fine.
like-
I mean, they can be just fine, but I don't like those countries' policies on freedom of speech. I prefer my policies over their policies. I like
Okay,
it in
but
the
why do
United
you
States
prefer them?
Because I like in the United States that we have the freedom to say insane shit and crazy shit, and that's a protected thing that protects us against the government from censoring that speech.
Okay, but that you do realize that empowers like 40% of the country to do more insane shit like January 6th, right?
Sure, and it also empowers the other half to do crazy stuff like BLM and like very progressive actions for like trans like stuff and everything, like good things too. I mean, like it's yeah, there's a trade-offs to freedom of speech. Of course, there's negatives that are associated with it, but I mean, hopefully the positives outweigh the negatives, right?
Would you say that wait, so I thought you were like super against BLM and riots and shit like that.
Well, no, I'm just saying that it can cause like great action across like a wide variety of viewpoints that might not otherwise be possible. But
like every single example you listed, like BLM or January 6th or whatever, like those were all not really positive outcomes, were they?
Well, I don't think. Hold on. When I say BLM, I don't just mean only the riots. I mean the entire movement of BLM, right? Like everything related to that.
Did that even lead to any positive outcomes? Like it died out.
I mean,
it
you
died
can
out.
argue. I mean, probably not great positive outcomes, but the issues with it weren't related to their lack of freedom of speech. It was usually lack of like clear direction of what policies they want. But like without freedom of speech, that conversation might not have even started in the first place.
Well, like what difference does it make whether it if it started or not in the first place if it still ended up achieving absolutely nothing?
The difference is I think there's value in being able to have the conversation.
But like the value would only exist if it actually achieved an outcome, right? There's no results for any of this.
Okay, I mean, I disagree. We don't have like a very fundamental. I'm not used to talking to like anti-democratic or anti-liberal people. I have a principled attachment to the concept of freedom of speech. I think that part of the human expression is being able to express ideas and not having to worry about what government institution might say, we don't want to hear that idea, it's no good. We don't want to hear that idea, we don't agree with it. I'm principally attached to that idea. If you want to do like some utilitarian calculus on the outcomes or whatever, then I guess we can try to have an extended conversation on, has freedom of speech benefited the United States more than it's hurt it? I mean, I'd be inclined to say yes, just because we seem to be one of the most freedom of speech countries in the world, and we are also arguably the most successful country in the history of the entire world. Maybe those two things are just an accident, they're not correlated. But yeah, I have a principal attachment to freedom of speech. Yeah, but yeah, go ahead.
I'm not saying that like we should outright like destroy freedom of speech or like remove it completely. I'm just saying that like mild limitations on it, you know, because like it seems like with no restrictions like we have now in the United States, there's lots of people.
I don't think you can have mild restrictions on it. It's a little bit all or nothing, I think, when it comes to like ideology. Like we can have restrictions in terms of like you can't encourage people to commit crimes or something, right? Or certain laws that like make sense. But in terms of like you can't say this because it's hateful, once you go down that road, I don't really think you ever come back.
I don't think it's a slippery slope. If anything, I think that just not having any limitations at all, maybe in a pre-internet world was fine, but like there's a lot of like conservatives who, because of internet echo chambers, are like predisposed to becoming farther right with no limitations to.
Sure, then make a better argument. Give them something different. Hold on, real quick for chat. Cal Canyon said, "Such an American take." It is an American take. You fucking retards in Europe are arresting people for typing the N-word on Twitter. You guys are fucking wild. I'm sorry. If I'm in fucking Germany, I can't even do a fucking pretend Nazi salute without you guys giving me a fucking ticket, okay? You guys are wild. F that shit. Fuck freedom of speech in Europe, okay? You are AIDS motherfuckers. Sorry, go ahead.
You really are an American.
Yeah,
okay.
I am. I'm very American, of course. I don't know much of my country I can be proud about today, okay? But one of the things I can be proud about is our criminal justice system is fucking awesome, and our freedom of speech is fucking awesome. I like those two parts of the United States, okay?
Criminal justice system is awesome, dude.
Hell yes.
Like, what happened to that? What happened to that public lynching of that black guy that happened recently? Like from the police force.
That's not our criminal justice system. Those are bad police actors. Our criminal justice system, as is enshrined in law, is awesome. There are bad cops in every country in the world.
Isn't it true that like I mean, I could be wrong, but like I'm pretty sure I've heard it a talking point that like American cops like have the most cause the most casualties more than like any other country's police force or whatever.
That's probably true, but American police are probably also under more threat of violence than any other police force in the world. We've got like 350 million guns in this country.
Well, I mean, that's kind of an argument that we should probably remove guns, but I don't know.
Yeah, but we're not talking about guns. We're talking about our criminal justice system. The cops are not the criminal justice system. It's just one aspect of it.
I guess.
Where are you from?
Anyway,
you're a Kanakuk, aren't you?
Who, me?
Yeah, where are you from?
Wait, what's a Kanakuk?
I don't know, some Canadian.
No, I'm not from Canada. But I just think that like your obsession with like harping on how the left is like banning people and how like that's what's making like conservatives more right-leaning, or you're buying into the bullshit narrative that like conservatives try to buy sympathy with. I just think that it's very likely that a lot of these, you know, Nazis like Kyle Rittenhouse or Sneako or what have you were probably just predisposed.
Are either of those people Nazis? Sorry, go ahead.
Or like super far right lunatics.
Okay. Like
those types of people were probably just predisposed to becoming further right-wing over time, regardless of whatever catalyst it is. So like, yeah, like banning, like if we banned Kyle Rittenhouse on Twitter and that's what made him a Nazi, like I feel like it was only a matter of when, not if.
Okay. I mean, I don't think that's true. I don't think that people are like beyond reach and that some people are just destined to become far-right actors.
Like, bro, if it's your nature to be super, like, edgy, insensitive, delusional, and to be inflammatory as much as possible, and have, like, a huge ego, and, like, and always want to be have the opposing opinion to figures of authority, and, like, all it took for you to get banned to become a Nazi was getting banned off YouTube or some shit, then, I'm sorry, like, at that point, I feel like that was pretty much unreachable, right? Like,
do you think it's in a black person's nature to be a violent criminal?
No.
Why? If all it takes is a little bit of poverty to make you sell crack and murder people on the street, like, don't you think it's always in your nature to do it?
But then that would apply to all races of people then, right?
I don't know. Other races of people don't do it.
No, I mean, like, there would be a lot more white people committing crime if they were in poverty, sure.
Sure, so white people in poverty don't commit crime like black people. So do you think it's in a black man's nature to be violent?
No, okay, wait. I was saying that, like, white people commit less crime because there's less of them in poverty.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure even white people in poverty, so if you go to, like, bumfuck country places, aren't committing crimes at the same rates that black people in poverty are.
So, what are you getting at with this?
I'm curious if you think it's in a black man's nature to commit crime, or if you think that there could be like a complicated confluence of environmental factors that could push people in certain directions, and just seeing somebody as an extremist doesn't necessarily mean they were always destined to become an extremist, because that's a bit of a crude analysis of a person's character.
I think that, like, in your formative years, if you're either maybe due to like a combination of genetic traits and also like how your race in your formative years, it can heavily determine, like 95% of the time, determine whether or not you turn out to be like a good person or a bad person. Yeah. Like, Kyle Rittenhouse was a kid who was already like kind of right wing and was super duper pro police, Blue Lives Matters.
Okay, none of the things you've said so far are wrong at all. It's okay to be right wing. It's okay to be pro cop. It's okay to be Blue Lives. Like, none of these things are like necessarily horrible on their face.
To want to go to a city that's having riots just to LARP for the police force when you're like 17, like that's pretty stupid. That's pretty fucking dumb, right?
Do you think it was also stupid for the protesters to go there and set things on fire? More stupid than Rittenhouse? Because if you want to say Rittenhouse said is some dumb, then yeah, I can kind of buy that maybe a little bit. But every single
not a little bit. That's huge.
Sure.
If you're 17 years old and you do that, it was your destiny. It was your pun not intended. It was your destiny.
I'll grant you that.
Worship Hitler.
I'll grant you that as long as you say that every single protester there was worse than Rittenhouse. Every single one.
Sure.
Okay, fine. Then all of those people, I guess, are all just destined for extremism in your eyes. They're all beyond salvation. They're all just lost forever.
I will say that rioting in particular typically represents voices of the unheard. So, like...
Rioting can represent a voice that... You realize that Rittenhouse and his city were literally the voice of the unheard because the police weren't doing anything to protect their businesses against the riots, right? Like...
To do something as insane as going there when you're like a kid with an, also he had access to an AR-15, like that's already like pretty insane. Like that, how do you say that's not being predisposed to moving along further right over time?
How is having access to an AR-15 insane?
Like for a kid to have access to a gun at that age, like yeah, that's
he was like
fucking
17.
wild.
Depending on where you're from, that's not that extreme at all.
Okay, I don't know where are you from, like Texas or some shit? Like that's no, most normal civilized countries don't give their 13-year-olds guns.
He's in, first of all, he wasn't 13. Secondly, yeah, he was from like Texas. He was from Wisconsin. It's
Isn't that like, well, okay.
I don't know if it, I'm pretty sure it's like this in other places. In Nebraska, if you go on like fucking farms and shit, there are like 10-year-olds that are putting phone books on the seats of trucks and then driving them around the farm. Like, yeah, kids do shit at early ages, depending on where you live. Guns aren't a huge fucking deal. I know in Seattle that if you guys see a gun, you probably call like the FBI and run in terror. But for a lot of kids, yeah, you get like rifles and 22s and shit at like relatively early ages. There are kids running around at 8 years old shooting BB guns and shit. It just depends on where you live.
Okay, let me reframe it a little bit.
Okay.
If Kyle Rittenhouse wasn't didn't become like a Fox News darling, let's say he didn't murder those two guys.
Well, he didn't murder them. He killed them in self-defense. Go ahead.
Okay, whatever. American. Anyway,
you're American too, dog. I don't know why you keep saying that. Like we're not the same.
I never
shit.
said I was American. What are you talking about?
You are American. I remember you. We fucking talk. You're from. I can tell by the sound of your voice where you're from. Okay. I've walked those rainbow streets. Okay, I've been up there before. Go ahead.
Okay. Let's say Kyle Rittenhouse wasn't a Fox News darling and he didn't kill those two people, right?
Thanks.
How do you know that maybe further along, I guess we're just going to reach the same, we're going to circle the same issue, but like, I just don't buy. I think he would have become further right over time. Maybe not as quickly, but like considering the circumstances of how he even got there, I do think it was kind of inevitable that a person like him would have just moved further along right over time, even if he hadn't like become a Fox News darling.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't understand this weird like obsession with like predisposing somebody towards like violent crime. Like it's also possible that he got like when I look at, for instance, like somebody like Sneako, like I can see the forces that are pushing him as far right as he's going. It's like pretty obvious. He's getting banned from every platform, and he's getting a ton of hate from people on the left. He's getting a ton of love from people on the right. Like that type of environment is going to move almost anybody in that direction. They don't have to be predisposed towards. That's just a superhuman thing.
His nature inclinates him to his nature causes him to instigate those forces to push him in that direction in the first place, though, right? Like
I don't understand this with his nature. I don't understand this argument.
Okay, I guess if I describe Sneako broadly speaking, he's a person who has a massive ego, right? He's also a person who likes to be rebellious.
Yeah.
He's a person who likes to be inflammatory.
Yeah.
I think that is a recipe.
Every single thing you've said so far describes me. But go ahead.
I would say. Okay, wait. I said so. You're saying you're egotistical. You're saying that you're
inflammatory. I like to piss people off. Yeah.
No, I think you're more intellectually honest, though.
Okay, sure. That might be one slightly different trait. Sure, but.
That's a pretty significant trait, and I think that was the deciding.
Thing
I think that was a pretty significant.
That's
difference.
The one thing keeping me from being far right is that I'm intellectually honest.
I think so. Yeah, I think almost necessarily, if you're a conservative in today's age, you are necessarily intellectually dishonest.
Oh my god, I don't know how you can stand watching my content because you are so extreme.
Wait, how am I extreme?
The phrases you use, you're so keen to like write off entire like groups of people. It's just like insane to me.
Bro. No offense, I'm just saying that you don't take conservatives seriously at all. Like you flirt with them constantly, and you constantly go up to bat for them to shit on the lefts, saying dumb shit like, "Oh, the left just bans over and over and over." Poor conservatives.
But they do. But like, I'll shit on conservatives too. It just depends on the form of the conversation. When I went to talk with Alex Jones and that panel and shit, I wasn't there just shitting on the fucking left. I was fighting. For conservatives. I was asking questions like, "Do you think it's ever okay to censor things? Do you think we really need humans for everything? Is that like a possible?" Like, there were tons of questions I was asking that was in opposition to conservatives there. Like.
You should be not be giving them a slight slap on the wrist. You should be like hard condemning and like shitting on them about as hard as you are shitting on the left, because like these are when it comes to tolerating the intolerant, there is no like
Everybody is intolerant. What do you mean?
Okay, sorry. I'm getting a little. I'm running out of brain juice. I'm saying that like you definitely seem to go way harder on the left than you do conservatives. Like, and I know you'll disagree with that, but you need to like crack down way harder on conservatives. Like you said, like, oh yeah, when I was talking to Alex Jones or whatever, I totally told him that he was wrong. Like, no, bro, you have to like stop sanitizing them, stop hanging out with them, stop being friendly with them. Like these guys are. You can't be even remotely tolerant of them. You have to like go take them way more seriously.
Okay. Listen, you should go to these events and try it. Okay, I want to watch you do it. All right.
Wait, the Alex Jones event?
Anything. I just like the formula that you're giving me is just going to lead to like a ton of conflict, and then I lose all of those ears. Like nobody's going to listen to me. Like this what was the call that was in like 2 or 3 callers ago? That guy was he from Kentucky? Do you think like that guy is ever listening to my stream if all I'm doing is relentlessly and hardcore shitting on conservatives?
I know it'd be pretty base if you were shitting on conservatives, yeah.
Yeah, it's base because you can sit around and like stroke your fucking wiener all day to the shit that I'm saying, but it's not actually accomplishing anything good, I don't think. If you want to do that, like there are so many other content creators you can listen to that are just going to like stroke your ego and make you feel good about yourself. If that's what you want to do, if you want to be like, intolerant, if you want to close your mind to anything that's different from your opinion, like there are people that do that. I just don't know why you would be on my stream. That clearly, like my goal is to have conversations where people on the right and center will listen to me. Your formula is not a way to do that.
The issue is that you're also exposing people on the center to these right-wing viewpoints by not going hard enough on them, right?
I don't think that my audience is being turned into conservatives, but if they are, then then maybe the conservative arguments are better, and my audience can.
Wait, how do you know that, right? Like when you engage with like Sneako or Nick Fuentes or Lauren Southern, like you always brag about how, oh yeah, I got some of their fans or whatever. Like how do you know they didn't get some of your fans?
Well, Lauren posts like one video every 2 months on her channel. Fuentes just nuked his whole career on the Kanye shit. Sneako is doing God knows what in the red pill space, but I seriously doubt any of my fans are looking at his shit. Like I don't know. I mean, like I can't.
Everything you just said doesn't necessarily prove that like Nick Fuentes, for example.
I can't show you a study for like conversions of fans, but based on
okay,
like.
So then you're like you can't speak so confidently about freedom of speech and all that shit. Like if you have no concrete way of knowing if it's working or not.
All I can do is I can go by my views, I can go by comments on videos, I can go by comments I get from other people. I mean, like if I'm missing a huge thing, then somebody has to point it out, I guess.
I don't know. It's wild to me that like you think like. It just baffles me how you'll look at like monstrous people like Lauren Southern and you'll say, oh, it's so cute how Lauren Southern blows up migrant boats with a rocket launcher, or oh, it's so cute how Sneako wants us to go back to the 1800s with how we treat women and promote insane government conspiracies. It's like, bro, you can't be like humanizing or like sanitizing such insane
but they're humans. I don't sanitize them. I call them out for what they are. But I mean, they're humans. They're people. Like, yeah, you got to meet them where they are. What, like, it's important.
You don't have to meet them where they are. Don't give them the time. Don't let them expose, infect more people.
Listen, if my audience hears some shit that they're saying, and my whole audience is like, you know what? Actually, this shit sounds great. I'm gonna go fucking attack migrant ships.
Oh, so you do believe in predisposing? The people that some people are predisposed.
Yeah, of course people can be predisposed, but there's a difference between saying predisposed versus the phrase you were earlier using, which was in their nature. That sounds way different, my dude.
Isn't that the same idea?
I don't think so, but maybe it can be for you.
No, I like if it's a person's nature to be predisposed, and it's person's nature. Yeah, it's the
when
same
you
thing.
say in a person's nature, that makes it sound like it's almost an unavoidable reality of what they will become. Predisposed, yeah. Of course people are predisposed towards certain things. I'm not going to argue against that. That's obviously true. But that feels a lot different than... Wait, what?
I feel like you're gaslighting me. Yeah, so like you're kind of just restating the definition.
What?
That predisposing and like it's in a person's nature to want to do something usually, like that's the same thing.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You're trying to make a distinction.
Yeah, my bad. We have well, now we're clear on that. I don't consider those the same thing. Those two things sound very, very, very different to me. But
okay, well,
like you don't think if I say that like Tom is kind of predisposed towards alcoholism versus saying like it's in Tom's nature to be an alcoholic. Those things don't sound different to you? They sound different to me. Maybe they don't to you. That's fine if they don't to you.
That sounds like the same statement, yeah.
Okay, those sound far, far, far different than me, but okay, maybe I just...
Okay, I feel like you're making that distinction so that you don't sound like a hypocrite, but okay, I mean...
Okay,
it's just...
Hold on, I'll be a little harder on this statement now, okay? When you say the nature of a thing, it sounds like you're describing something that's intrinsic to that property. What is the nature of a white man? What is the nature of this particular thing? It sounds like an intrinsic and inseparable characteristic. When you say predisposed, it sounds like something has a tendency or a likelihood to follow a certain direction. That feels very different to me than saying something is in its nature.
So you want to make the distinction that like one is like slightly more extreme on the spectrum than the other, one is further along of an extreme than the other? Is that the distinction you want to make?
If you told me that it's in somebody's nature to become a serial killer, then that person should probably be fucking preemptively killed. But if you tell me somebody's predisposed towards becoming a serial killer, it's like, oh, well, there's probably a bunch of like special things that we should keep in mind so that this person doesn't become a serial killer.
Okay, yeah, so that's what I said. You think that, like, it's in a person's nature implies that it's way more, like, it's, like, almost guaranteed, whereas
it's an intrinsic part. Yeah, it's, like, a necessary, it's a part of them. Yeah, that is, like, going to, it's part of, yeah, it's in their nature. It's something they are and can never be changed, almost. That's what it feels like when something says when somebody says it's in somebody's nature to do something.
Okay, sure, but, like, I still think that kind of, if you concede that, like, predisposing is real, that still kind of makes you a hypocrite, because like you're saying that like there are people who are just likely to inevitably be, you know, farther right.
Wait, why are you combining these words? They're likely to inevitably be. Those two words are opposite. That's like saying, like, okay, you know, 50% of the time, this guy will always be a murderer. That sentence is like nonsense.
Okay. Trying to think. I don't know. I just think that like
people like Sneako are probably predisposed towards like conspiracy theories and right-wing stuff. I think that's probably true, but I don't think it was inevitable for him. But once they go down a certain road, and once people treat them in a certain way, then yeah, it's probably that's just going to be they're fucked. So there are.
But isn't that kind of like the thing that kind of guarantees it? Then what you're saying is like if Sneako does this thing and the inevitable guaranteed response leads him to go further and further down, then that kind of is functionally no different from saying it's guaranteed, right?
No, because it wouldn't be if people would respond a bit differently.
But no, you can't ask people to respond differently.
I can.
To an
I
insane,
do.
Evil.
He's not evil. What the?
Wait, who's not evil?
I don't think Sneako is evil.
I mean, he is kind of, you know, like pretty fucked up. He's crazy.
Pretty fucked up and evil are two different things. Again, like evil, it goes back to that word you use, in its nature. Evil sounds like an intrinsic, inseparable characteristic of a person. I don't think Sneako is inseparably, like, horrendously an evil person. I think he's horrendously fucking misguided. This is a lot of retarded shit right now, but I don't think he's evil. This is my
thing. You keep, like, flirting, being like, oh, he's not evil, you know, he just wants us to go back to the 1800s with how we treat women, and he denies the Holocaust.
But do you think he really thinks that?
Cute.
This is like a new brand of idea that he's picked up in, like, a year. Like, the kid models himself after people hardcore. Right?
Yeah, of course. And like that's kind of the point. Like that's how he operates. That's his.
So find him a better role model, right? He tried the swinger shit probably because Patrice O'Neal did it. Now he's copying Andrew Tate and all the shit that he did because Andrew Tate did it. Right? I mean, find a new role model.
That's what I mean. It's in his nature to copy bad role models.
But it's in anybody's nature to theoretically copy a bad role model. It just depends on. It just depends on what the person is exposed to. But then the argument there should be to like give people better role models or show them why a particular person is a bad role model. I just don't like the idea of saying like, oh yeah, this person is predisposed towards this, so we just write them off completely.
I don't think it's fair to ask that like the rest of the entire world changes like very basic ways of how they respond to bad acts just to accommodate like such a small portion of like deranged people. I don't think that makes sense. I don't think that's fair.
I mean, isn't that essentially what you're asking a conservative to do when it comes to trans people? Isn't that their view of trans people?
The problem is that conservatives are the minority. They are the outlier. They are. Yeah, there's far more liberals in the world. There's far more progressive, sensible people in the world than liberals.
Sure, and those far more liberals in the world just act like fucking transgender shit for youth in like Scandinavia. So I mean, like, who's on the crazy side?
I think generally the majority of people are at least tolerant. The majority of the world's population is like tolerant of trans people, I would say. Maybe not like super
Sure, tolerant. And the majority of, if I had to guess, my guess is going to be that over 50% of conservatives in the United States probably support trans people to also, yeah, hold on. I don't know if the majority of the people in the world are progressive. That's probably wildly discounting entire continents of people. Now that I think about it. But even if I leave that to the side, like, I don't know how many trans people are going to find like fucking hormone therapy in the continent of Africa. Right? But,
well, I mean, that's kind of I think with Africa, that's like, they're like a whole different system. Like, they have a whole different way of operating. They don't have access to like technology and shit like other first world countries do. So,
where's Abba at? Okay, I'm sorry. Wait, how old are you again? I'm just checking. You're like 20, right?
Maybe.
Okay. Okay. I'm just saying that, like, my guess is that most conservatives in the United States, if I had to guess, probably over 50% are okay with like trans people if they're adults. That'd be my guess. But when it comes to children, it's different. So I'm just saying it's not like there's this huge, super evil majority of conservatives that are...
Well, okay, conservatives aren't evil just because they oppose trans people, right? They're evil because like they're evil because they try to overthrow our democracy. They're evil because they constantly pass legislation to threaten the lives of minorities. Like, yeah, it's like it's not just them opposing trans people that makes them evil.
Okay. I feel like you want a world where we just say that there are a lot of people that are beyond reach. What do we do with them? What do you do with a person like Sneako? Tell me.
Well, what would I do? I mean, I have... Okay, well, what I would do is, I mean, I guess what would happen is like, we would kind of like just pass like mild hate speech law limitations. Kind of like in Canada and other European countries that have their shit together, unlike the United States. And then, like, I guess over time... and we continue to ignore them in internet spaces as well. So, like, we don't...
Well, give me an example of, like, what's, like, a mild hate speech law that you would pass in the United States?
What was that? Like, what was it? Like, like C-16 or whatever in Canada or whatever. Like, if you try to, like, intentionally, like, call, like, a trans woman a man or whatever, like, you'll get a fine or some shit. Like, just...
I think C-16 only applies to, like, building owners and employers. That doesn't apply to, like, a random person in Canada.
Okay, well,
you've got like the Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, something like that then, C-16, whatever. Like, just like mild laws that like make it so that way, like saying whatever, you can't say anything insane, right? Because like in America, you can borderline commit stochastic terrorist acts and get away with it.
Wrong. You can commit stochastic terrorism in the United States and get away with it, which is fucking based.
No, that's fucking disgusting.
That's so based.
You're American. Anyway,
we're both like, Americans, my boy. I don't know why you keep
I'm not American.
Really?
No, I'm not.
Didn't the last time we talked, didn't you say you were like from Seattle or Portland or something?
I never said that. You're imagining things.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. Anyway, like, yeah, I mean, and like, yeah, it's just Republicans do so many fucked up things besides like trans people. They're like, we need to like impose limitations on them. We need to take them more seriously. And you're just, I don't know, you think it's cute whenever Lawrence Southern, like, you know, genocides Mexicans or whatever. It's like, I don't understand why you think it's funny or cute whenever these conservatives do insane shit.
Well, first of all, if Lawrence Southern genocided anybody, I don't think that would be cute.
I mean, you talked to her, you were friendly with her after she blew up that migrant boat, like, I
can't tell if you're trolling. Is this a troll?
Okay, I know she didn't blow up the migrant boat. She sunk it or whatever.
Hey, do you think that's true?
Whatever it was that she did. You're getting too lost in the weeds here. It's a joke, okay?
Genocided somebody, blew up a boat, sunk a boat. Those are all like pretty fucking horrible, condemnable things.
Whatever she did, put her on the FBI's most wanted list or something.
I don't think she was ever on the FBI's most wanted list.
The no-fly list or whatever. She clearly did something heinous towards Mexicans. She was involved with a terrorist organization, I think it was, right?
Okay, you don't even know anything. Wait, who the fuck even are you in my chat?
Wait, no, okay, wait. She was involved with like a terrorist organization, right?
Wait, is this guy even a tier 4 sub? Who are you?
I'm getting like 8 pinks in your chat. Everyone is pissed at me. Oh my god. Okay.
It's Hamster Hawk? This is not Hamster Hawk.
No, I'm not. I don't know who the Hamster Hawk is.
Wait, who are you in my chat? What's your name?
What's my name? I'm not
in my DG chat. Why can you not give me? What do you mean? You're Awuga here. It says trick in parentheses. Why can you not just give me the name in chat?
Because your chat's gonna eat me alive? I don't know.
Cake, there's got to be a way to see, because if there's a reciprocated sub, I'm just fucking curious. Oh, okay. It seems like you don't even know what happens to some of these people that you want to like condemn so hardcore. Like you don't. Wait, you don't know anything about like Lauren stuff was even accused of, or what anything had even, like.
She was involved in the. She was involved in the migrant boat incident. Something involving the migrant boat incident. And also, it was.
Okay, why do you have such strong opinions about her if you don't even know anything about her?
I mean, I know that she was involved in that. It was a literal white nationalist terrorist organization that she was working for.
Okay, I don't think it was a white national. It was a white nationalist. Well, it was international, so I think it's technically considered white identitarian movement. But I don't think they were ever a terrorist organization. But
I think I read an article that said like it was a terrorist organization, I believe. I could be wrong.
I could be wrong. Somebody can tell me, but I don't think that they had any like terrorist actions. I think it was just a white identitarian, so they were considered extremist, other than that Mediterranean Sea cringe shit.
And then also, didn't she inspire like the Christ shooter or whatever? Like that's pretty disgusting.
I mean, I don't think he references her directly, but I mean, they talk about similar things.
Dude, like this is what I mean. Like these guys are so evil and in the wrong, and you just think like it's not a big deal.
I think it is a big deal. What do you mean? I think
you don't because you're like, oh, Lauren's so cute when she blows up these migrant boats. Oh, Sneako's so cute when he does this.
I don't think it's. I fight against and argue against these types of things all the time. I just like to identify them correctly.
Don't even let them be exposed to your audience.
Why? I don't think my audience is going to turn into a bunch of fucking white nationalists. If I talk to these people, I think they'll be okay. I trust my audience. I trust me.
I don't think you should be this confident. Like, there's just
what?
There's just no shot that
then we should all just be. Then shouldn't we just be Nazis?
Didn't infect some of your fans? Or sorry, what?
Shouldn't we all just be Nazis then?
Why would we be Nazis?
If their ideology is so infectious and so powerful that if you just hear a few words, you just can't help but turn to that side. It seems almost inevitable that it would take over anyway. I feel like at that point we might as well just fucking embrace it, no? And be the most ethical Nazis we can be.
Argument against
at least we can be like vegan Nazis or something, right?
I would say that like, okay, there's like, I guess I would split people broadly into like 3 camps.
Yeah, would you? What kind of camps would you put them in? Tell me.
No, not literal camps. I mean 3 groups. The first group are people who are predisposed to being, reasonable liberals, either due to their formative years being influenced by their environment or like mild genetic traits from their parents or whatever. And that camp is like extremely hard to alter the trajectory of their political ideologies to move to the right. Then there's group 2, which is, I don't know, maybe a decent portion of your audience, I would say. Well, like, centrist, maybe, who are, like, moderately predisposed to buying into liberal ideology, but with enough work or exposure to right-leaning figures, they could still feasibly be infected with the conservative virus. Like, that group is the one I'm referring to. Like, and then camp 3 is just like pure conservative people who are like inevitably going to worship Hitler no matter what. Like an asinine and unfeasible amount of work would be required for even just a small chance to move like one of those people to the left.
Okay. Anything else?
Okay, I guess I didn't convince you at all. Okay.
Not very well, but
okay. I mean, I have one other. I mean, this isn't really a political question, but
wait, can I use the restroom real quick?
Yeah, sure. I think DGG chat loves me. You can tell I have a lot of fans now. Their tears are delicious. A lot of angry centrists and right-wingers in chat. There's a lot of angry right-wingers and centrists in chat. They're so mad. So mad. Getting all of these pings. Okay, so I guess actually I don't need to say it out loud, but I did email it to you. I just wanted to... Do you check your emails, by the way?
Yep, but I don't respond to all of them anymore.
Wow, really? Why not?
Because I get a lot of fucking emails, and some of them are really long. And I just don't have the time.
I didn't send you a long email, though. Like, not responding is, like, super unprofessional, you know?
You're joking, right?
Wait, how? Okay, whatever. Well, anyway, the thing I wanted to let you know about, like, I emailed it to you, so I don't have to say it out loud, because you might get a little mad if I say it out loud.
Why would I get mad if you say it out loud? Wait, what was it about?
You don't remember what... You said you read it, at least, right?
I don't know. I get tons of emails.
My god. I can't say it out loud because your chat's gonna get furious.
What was it about? Like, just the topic about? Like, broadly?
It was an email from Trick. I can't... If I go into literally any specifications there, I'm gonna get eaten alive.
Okay, I'll mute for a second.
You.
Why are you... Okay, you're unmuted.
Okay.
Why not just say it? Why not just own it?
Well, because... Wait, hold on. If they found out I didn't pay a dime...
Well, now you just said it!
Well, I didn't say it. No, they don't know what I'm talking about, though. But...
Okay.
But, like, I don't know. I wanted to ask you as well. The reason I confessed it to you is because, like, I'm curious, how did that happen? Well, I mean, you probably should mute because I'm not done.
I don't know. Ask Cake or Ninu. I don't know if there was a glitch, but now you can all thank Cake for this. There you go.
Okay, well, I guess it was a glitch. Are you sure you had nothing to do with that?
No, why would I be giving free subs?
Oh my, nice going, dipshit. Oh my god.
Okay, you're on vacation.